Hey, gun people! Holy shit! You talk about a shitstorm. This is a perfect example of PC policing gets innocent people killed. This is an example of when you call the government, it rarely gets better. This is an example on why people should never give up the right to protect themselves and to be armed instead of depending on government to come save you. Horrible, horrible example. This woman gets killed partly because of her own actions and her own ignorance, but the cops end up killing her because they're trying to save her from the guy that just threatened to kill her. The cops actually killed her. Government came to save her, and they killed her to protect her. This is a perfect lesson of why decent people should never give up their right to own a gun and to defend themselves. Government will never put your life in front of theirs or their wants or their profits or their growth. It's just what government does. Tough video. Here we go.
Operator 721. Hi, I have someone who stabbed somebody at my location. I need the police now. You're calling from a cell phone. I don't know where you are.
Notice the person calling in says, I want somebody here now. That always works with government. Go to the post office and demand somebody help you. See how that works out. Go to DMV. Go to any government agency and demand they do something and see how that works out.
425 Tyrone Avenue. Is that a house or apartment or business? It's a church. And what's the name of the church? Central Lutheran Church.
Now, to me, it's common sense that if I'm calling the cops, I'm going to say, I need help at Central Lutheran Church. And maybe give the address. I mean, most cops know locations. If you say, I'm at the Dunkin' Donuts, unless there's 3 or 4 in that area, they're going to say which one. But they're going to know you're at one of the Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, why would you get somebody here now? We need help. You don't give a location, you don't give an address, and you wonder why you might get an attitude.
Is the person who did the stabbing still there? Yes, he is. Is it a man or what? Is he black, white, or Spanish? It's a man.
I mean, this dispatcher, is it a man, woman? Is he Hispanic? She's trying to get information, but again, when you have somebody calling, they're in a panic, you don't always get out. So if you're going to be calling 911, get the address, a common location, a street corner, a cross street, a mile marker, a known location, the mountain with a big cross on it, something. So if you lose contact or you become a victim, at least cops know where to start searching for you.
It's Hispanic man. What color shirt pants does he have on? He has a maroon shirt with green army shorts.
Why did government ask if he was Hispanic? I thought color didn't matter. I thought race didn't matter. Of course it matters. That's liberal ignorance telling you, oh, you shouldn't have to say, and you should be. It's just ignorant.
The suspect is 30 years, and he does a location for the Bill Oswald High.
Air 16, he's going to be on the west side of the church. He looks like he still has something in his hand. I have units go code 6 on.
Okay, so I don't know where they're at, but everybody seems to be disabled or in a wheelchair or on welfare, or if this is maybe a Social Security disability error. I don't know what it is. The lady that gets killed is right here because she's got some sort of push stroller, walker, helper. This dude's in here. So as a cop, when you get to these scenes, the evaluation process and the time and everything that goes on happens so quickly that you have to have a plan or something in your mind. You have to have experience on these so you can kind of stay focused. To me, I'm responding to an incident. A guy's already stabbed people. He's with a gun. He's a no person. He's armed. He's dangerous. And now he's not going to follow orders. Now, the problem is that people get caught up in this 21-foot rule. If the guy isn't 21 feet or closer, we're not really authorized to shoot him. And if we shoot him and he's more than 21 feet, we're going to have CNN reporting we just wanted to kill the guy because the caller called in and said he was Hispanic, and it's because the wall wants to be built and we're a Trump supporter. And they will change the narrative. And in reality, what's happening is the cop is over thought process of legality. Do I have a right to shoot? What's my background? Do I want to hit it in this person? And should I shoot him and maybe hit, or should I not shoot? Is my life in danger? If my life's in danger, I don't want to shoot to protect other people, because if I miss or do it wrong, then I'll be charged. So unless my life's in danger, I'm not going to shoot. So they wait, and they try and articulate, and they try and talk to a person who's already stabbed and hurt people, possibly killed people, and they want to stop and have a reasonable conversation because they know they're being videotaped, because they know it's going to be scrutinized. And so this is why these cops don't take this guy out immediately. You know what? If I see you stab somebody, or I have reason to believe you stab somebody, and you got a knife and you're not following, and I see you approach other people with this knife, I'm taking you out while you're in the open, and I have a clean shot, and my odds of hitting you is better in order to save somebody, versus waiting until you put the knife at someone's throat, which is what these cops do, which is why when they do shoot him, he's already got a hostage. I mean, so many variables here, and you know what? A lot of things are going on in these cops' minds. Liability, policy, let's get the beanbag, let's try less lethal, let's get my taser. I read on the internet, I watched a video where a guy said pepper spray always works, so I better use my pepper spray. I mean, there's just so much crap. It causes hesitation, and hesitation causes this lady to die. Okay, guy has a knife right here. Nobody is around him. Is this a good time to take him out? Cops are more than 21 feet from him. So cops are thinking, I don't even know why they pulled out a beanbag. To me, you know, you got all these idiots out here saying, why didn't they tase him? Why didn't they do that? Why do you shoot people with knives? This is why you shoot people with knives. Because if you wait, now the guy gets to kill someone else or cause someone else to be killed. Now, I know there's going to be the people here that want to argue, he didn't kill him, the cops killed him, it's the cops' fault. Look, cops aren't out looking for fun on a Saturday night saying, hey, let's go pick on somebody that ran across the border illegally and wear our Trump, I think America's great hat. You know, that's not what these cops are doing. These cops are dispatched to a highly violent, critical incident that is continuing to evolve, rapidly evolving, that is uncontrolled, and they're approaching a guy with a knife who has already stabbed people. Now, do they know he stabbed somebody, or are they just going off 911? People come here, well, they didn't know, and since they only got a radio, they can't shoot, and they're not really authorized. You can if, and, buts, and coconuts this to death. The point is, I got a guy with a knife that's a no person that's refusing to drop it, and I have a lot of potential victims around him. I can either choose to protect them, or I can wait. Since my life is safe, since I have a gun, since I'm the government, since I'm protected, since I have distance, I'm going to wait and not worry about all you sheep who have voted for gun control, who keep continuing to vote liberal and open borders, who all you people who are destroying the right to defend yourself. I'm not going to risk my career defending you. I'm going to wait. And what does waiting do? It gives the bad guy, the no person with a knife who has already stabbed people, time to get someone else killed. Horrible situation.
Drop it! Drop it!
So, and this kind of was funny to me that
Hey!
this guy is out of the car at gunpoint giving directions. What's the other officer doing? Why isn't he at gunpoint? Notice they fuzzed his face out. Why is he digging around the car? Why is he not engaged in the threat? Well, Rick, he's looking for the beanbag gun. He's looking for his pepper spray and his Spidey Man net and his, the gun that shoots the special, golden lasso. He's looking for all the special equipment that everybody tells you instead of dealing with a knife, a violent threat, somebody who has the ability to kill somebody. Instead of dealing with that threat, he's worried about PC policy. Let me get some less lethal. He's one of the idiots that freaking watch YouTube channels that tell people, oh, less lethal is always better. You should always use less lethal if you don't need. Yeah, that's how you get people killed. And that always works in the movies and on YouTube videos, but it doesn't work in real life.
Drop it! Drop it! Drop the knife!
right there. Let's see if I can go back here. At this point, he's telling him drop the knife. We have one potential suspect or victim behind. We have a lot of victims. The suspect with the knife is in the open and alone, and we have distance, and all we do is talk to him. Well, Rick, that's what you should do. You shouldn't just shoot people for the knife because you don't know, and he's probably got mental issues. You know, CNN will be reporting, poor Hispanic man killed by a white officer because he has mental issues. They won't mention the knife or that he had it to the woman's throat. I mean, people just can't, and YouTube will be blocking and censoring and shadow banning this because they don't want anybody to know the truth. They like dumb people like this that say government's good. Government will come save you. We need to vote more gun control. We need to have open borders and be tolerant and loving, and hugging helps people instead of guns. Yeah, okay. Ask this lady. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't ask her. She's dead. But if she was alive, you could ask this lady and she would tell you the fallacy in your ignorant beliefs.
Drop the knife! Drop the knife! Drop the knife!
So we have a guy who's already stabbed people. We have him refusing to drop the knife after several commands. We have him walking toward people with a knife. Do they shoot? No, Rick. They're waiting for the pinky toe takedown because we don't want to hurt the poor man with the knife because he doesn't know, and he's mentally unstable, and he's emotionally disturbed, and we should help him. Okay, you keep believing that stupid crap, and maybe you can be just like this woman.
Stay cover, keep cover. Drop the knife! Hey, put the knife down! Drop the knife! Turn around, put the...
He is walking from where they have a clear shot to a woman. Now this is where I say personal responsibility, ignorance, lack of critical thinking, our great educational system that teaches people how to be sheep. This woman knows the cops are here, have been yelling with guns. This guy has already stabbed people, and he's got a knife. Is this woman taking any action to defend herself? Is she getting out of the area? Is she jumping in a car? Is she trying to make her way down this wall? Is she trying to stay out of the gunfire and create distance from this guy? No. She's standing here watching. Rich, it's not her fault. She's a woman and you're just picking on her and you're sexist. Yeah, okay, that's because you're an idiot. She should have common sense to not be hanging around when cops are yelling and pointing guns and a guy is with a knife and a guy is walking toward her and the cops. So she takes some responsibility. Rick, are you saying she should be killed? No, you freaking idiots. I'm not saying that. I'm saying she didn't take any responsibility to protect herself. She didn't take reasonable steps to create distance, to keep distance, to stay out of the line of fire, to instead of standing there saying, you know what, I'll just stand here and watch because the police are here. And the police are the government, and they're here to help. And they're going to help me. Yeah, they're going to help you. They're going to give you extra holes that you didn't have before this incident.
Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Drop the knife!
Man, I'll do the knife.
Put it...
So now the man with the knife is in front of her. Cops are pointing guns at him saying, drop the knife. Anyone with 2 brain cells could figure out, I probably don't want to be near this guy. I don't want to be behind him since the cops are going to be shooting at him and the bullets may miss him and hit me. I think I'm going to create distance. I'm going to move out of the bullet's path. I'm going to get the hell out of Dodge right now. What does she do? She stands there. What's the consequence for her choice? She dies. Choices have consequences. Knowledge is power. Power gives you the ability to stay alive. If you carry around knowledge, it's very lightweight. It doesn't slow you down. These people are just being clueless, and the cops are in a position to where, you know what? They kind of screwed the pooch on getting this guy closer. What the cops could have done is immediately when they saw him is decrease their distance to under 21 feet and make sure and lock the suspect down. We don't want him moving. If he moves, he gets closer to other people. Why aren't cops protecting other people? Because they don't care about other people. They care about keeping their jobs. I was a cop. They care about not being crucified by the media, not losing their job, not shooting a poor Hispanic man that came across the border and being labeled as a racist by the CNN, MSNBC, BS bullshit media. That's what they're worried about. And who suffers because of that? The public who they're supposed to protect. But they're not supposed to protect them. They're protecting themselves. They could have increased their distance on this guy or decreased their distance, moved up on the guy, locked him down, and said, if you move toward me or anyone else, we're going to shoot you. They could have locked him up back here had they moved in. Years ago, that's what they would have done. Now, they got to stay with their car. They want to keep their distance. They don't want to get sued. They want to check for less lethal. They want to go through all these other steps to protect themselves from the crazy left-wing media, left-wing radical militant idiots that run our media and run our government. They are worried about protecting themselves, and they don't care about you or me. And if you don't get that, well, then maybe you can be this woman next.
Down! 9823, let me get a backup. Drop the knife!
So now we have 3 cops with guns. We have them here. And what do? We shoot him with beanbags because that's kinder and gentler and that's PC. And he has a knife and we don't want to hurt him. And the ignorance in that. See, you can be ignorant when you have guys with guns protecting you because when the beanbag doesn't work, if he charges you, you have guys with guns to protect you and to shoot him and stop him. What about the people that don't have guns that you told you would protect? You know what? You're on your own. Just like this woman.
Drop the knife! Drop it!
So we beanbag him. We have him in the open. We could have took the shot. We could have stopped the threat and dropped him. And we wanted to be kinder. So what does he do? He runs back and uses a woman that stood there, that could have left, but just stood there and watched because she has a degree in rainbow studies from the University of the Liberal Left. And now she's just standing there watching the poor Mexican man, Hispanic man, being picked on by the mean white man. And she stands there and becomes a victim. And she does not get to relive or redo this process. Again, he is away. They could shoot him. He's taken an aggressive stance. He has his knife up. They have deadly force is authorized. Rick, they don't know if he stabbed it. It doesn't matter. Deadly force is authorized because he is a danger to others. He can cause seriously bodily injury and or death if he stabs or hits this person. He is a danger and deadly force is authorized and they don't shoot. Why? Because we have guns, we have beanbag guns, we have tasers, we have pepper spray, we have the pinky toe takedown. We have all these tools at our disposal. And if all that fails, we got guys with real guns that'll protect us. So we are safe over here in the police and government area. Meanwhile, the sheep who vote for gun control and open borders are out here thinking government will protect me. I just called 911. I'm safe. I don't have to do anything. Now he grabs a woman and puts the knife to her throat and uses her as a human shield. And now the cops decide to shoot. Now, people are going to say, why did the cops do this? They shouldn't have shot. They weren't their background. If they didn't know where the bullets, they're guilty of murdering this woman. Look, I've said it before. The mind works funny. Once you make a decision to shoot, it's very hard not to shoot. It takes a lot of process and thought to determine whether to pull that trigger. And once you determine that, you cannot stop it in mid-stroke. You can't just change your mind. The mind doesn't work that way in a critical incident when you go into fight or flight. So once these guys determine to shoot, it's very hard for them not to shoot. In their mind, this guy was a good, clear target, and if they waited, he would get behind it. It was a bad decision. It didn't work out for the woman, but you know what? They worked out okay. They're alive. They get to go home. They get to face a jury trial or a civil trial, or they get to protected by the government because they were safe because they had guns. The people without guns, they're dead. One, two, three cops, four cops circling the wagons. This guy here is trying to get a better shot. And because this guy's focused on him, he is spinning clockwise into these guys away from this guy. And I think these three guys open up. I don't know who shoots or how many times they shoot. But this woman who didn't leave, who could have left, who this is probably her house, she could have went inside. She could have definitely, she had plenty of opportunities to leave. I don't want to hear about, she's got a wheelchair, she's got a walker, and she couldn't. BS. She got to where she's at with that walker. She could have got away from there. I'm not saying she should have died. I'm not saying that her death isn't a tragedy, people. Don't try to make this some hate video. I'm trying to get you to see the ignorant ways of the liberal thinking that if you give up your guns and your self-protection, government will save you. They do not. They will save themselves. Always. All governments will never risk their lives for their people's lives. Except maybe the military, they go over and fight. But that's a different issue. I'm talking about in this scenario, both these people die because government protected themselves instead of protecting the people that couldn't protect themselves. The woman fell before the man, which we call that a clue. She probably took more rounds. This guy is dead. People will say he was mentally ill. He's probably been arrested numerous times by the cops for being mentally ill. He's probably been cleared of 51. See, the media will never report history of the person that gets killed. They'll only report that he's a poor Hispanic male who came here to go to doctor school and now he's dead because the cops used a real mean bad gun instead of using the beanbag, or they didn't use the beanbag enough, or they didn't use their pepper spray, or they didn't use the taser, or they didn't use. The cops will be wrong and criticized. The government will pay out money from taxpayers that they take from taxes. The news media will make this a thing about why cops shoot Hispanic guys and they're white. Everyone will push their own agenda. Meanwhile, the lady is dead because, one, she didn't create distance when she could have, and two, because nobody had a plan to defend themselves and they waited for the government to come because government is always there to help. You know, I tell the religious people this who are always talking about praying and you need to pray and you need to pray. You know what? If you're drowning in the middle of the ocean, you better swim while you're praying, because if you just pray, you're going to die praying. You have to help yourself, people, and you have to take self-responsibility. And this woman did not. And again, I'm not saying she should have died or it's good that she died. I'm just telling you, she didn't have to die. You can blame the cops. You can blame this guy. Nobody wants to blame the victim, but everyone here has responsibility for how this played out. And everyone that voted for gun control and open borders and liberal policies about you shouldn't be able to defend yourself and they don't want stand your ground and people should be allowed to run around with guns and knives. And if they do, you know what? You shouldn't do anything. You should let the government come and take care of them. That's all to blame for this. So there's plenty of blame to go around. Hopefully this is a great lesson. Hopefully YouTube leaves this up. You never can tell what they're going to do, but I think this is a great learning tool, and we'll end that there.